Hello and welcome back to the Oasis podcast, the ultimate audio guide to Oasis. And it's another emergency kind of mini news update episode. Where are we? We are Sunday morning on the 25th of May. And yesterday I just jumped on because there'd been these sort of pictures released of people going in and out of rehearsals. And really it was still a little bit unclear of who was actually in the band. The Sun was reporting that it was Mike Rowe, but actually then Liam Gallagher replied that it wasn't, it was Christian Madden. And so I was just going back and forth on Twitter all day yesterday, just clarifying this stuff. And I actually ended up becoming part of the story myself. So that's always good fun. Typically, when you don't have a situation with a normal band where you get like press releases and interviews and information, and you basically just have to base everything on what Liam Gallagher tweets occasionally. But sometimes Liam is just winding you up. Sometimes Liam's just dropping in bizarre references, or you just don't know. But anyway, we're pretty much there now with the lineup confirmed. Thanks really to Liam replying to me on Twitter. So, so the first thing was, these pictures came out. I don't think I even mentioned yesterday that obviously Liam wasn't pictured, but yeah, Liam's going to be in the band. He's just going to be joining them later, as we'll find out. So first off, yesterday morning, we sort of had this back and forth. Is it Christian Madden? Is it Mike Rowe? Because the picture actually did look quite a bit like Mike Rowe. So I said, the Sun reports that the man in the first photo is Mike Rowe. Liam says on Twitter it's Christian Madden. Who is it? And Liam Gallagher replied to that saying he's the greatest pianist player since Les Dawson. So if you don't know that reference, Les Dawson was like a British comedian in all throughout the 60s to the 80s, maybe 90s. And he was just a funny guy. Like, look him up. He was, just a funny old school stand-up comedian. But part of his act, he would like play the piano and deliberately play it badly. Almost like Tommy Cooper deliberately getting the magic tricks wrong, but the skill it takes to actually be able to play them and then deliberately get it wrong. Actually, he was a really, really talented pianist. So, so that's the Liam reference there. So there we go. So he is talking about Christian Madden, and then actually, quite a few people have then confirmed it definitely is Christian. And then I asked Liam, when are you joining rehearsals? Or are you just going to turn up in Cardiff? This was another question. And Liam replied to that, I'll be there when the talented folk have got their shit together. Until then, I'll be mostly acting like a spunk bubble. So, thank you very much, Liam. So, confirmation that, he will be turning up at some point. I suppose it just makes sense that they figure out the arrangements of the songs first, and then Liam will come in and kind of sing them at the end. And then the other one I said was, so Bonehead, Christian and Joey in the band, Ashcroft and Cast supporting. Does this mean you're the chief now? Point I was making in yesterday's episode. And Liam replied to that, I've always been the main man. So I don't necessarily think he has always been the main man. I think often, Noel would generally have the final decision in all these, these sort of matters of who's joining the band and, songs to play on the set list. I mean, that's what we've always assumed anyway. Gem being picked and Andy Bell getting picked and things like this, we assumed it was kind of Noel who had the final say. But hey, who knows? Maybe it wasn't. So there you go. And then on the final point was around the drummer. So we had, there was no pictures yesterday of Joey Waronker. So we assumed that, we still assumed that would be the case, but we didn't know for definite. However, there was a picture surfaced yesterday of Joey Waronker going into rehearsals. And apparently then Liam did reply to that saying something like, yeah, that's it. He's the best drummer in the world. I'm in awe of that man. Oasis are lucky to have him. So we know now. We know the lineup. We've got Noel, Gem, Andy, Bonehead, Joey on drums, and Christian Madden on keyboards, which is a very, very different, very interesting lineup. Like all of these years that we've been talking about, what would the lineup be if Oasis reformed? Yeah, I don't think I don't think I would have guessed that in a million years. But there we go. So what do we think? Look, ultimately, as long as it was Liam and Noel, we knew it was going to be a great lineup. It's fantastic to have Boned there, to bring that link to the past of Oasis, to the 90s Oasis. Gem and Andy is just like the classic combination that it's just great to have. Joey is just a very talented drummer. You don't play with people as diverse as like Beck and REM and various other bands without being a bloody good drummer. And he drums well on the John Squire album. So looking forward to that. And Christian, very talented keyboard player. Did a lot of, obviously been playing with Liam all these years. And I know he's actually very good mates with Chris from the Stage Left podcast, actually. So we'll see if Chris gets an exclusive with him in the next few weeks. So it's good lineup. They're going to be able to play the songs. Gem and Noel is a great combination. Plus shove Boned in there, absolutely brilliant. Andy Bell, as I say, when he started, he wasn't a bass player, became an excellent bass player. Very, very skillful bass player. He knows exactly what to do. And Christian Madden, he's going to be able to bring the sounds. It would have been nice to have Mike Rowe there, or even people like Jess Greenfield. Jess, we've talked about over the years. She would have been a great addition to the band, and maybe just brought something a little bit different, with some different backing vocals, and just the fact she's a woman, I suppose, would have been maybe a slightly different lineup than just a bunch of old blokes. I don't think we could have hoped for much else. Tony, it would be lovely for him to get in there and make a cameo, but not going to happen as far as we know. Alan White, we always had hope when he was sort of especially popping up on Instagram as he's done over the last few years, having been completely out of the spotlight for years. Would have been lovely for Whitey to be involved, but as I said, doesn't sound like that's happening at all. Zach Starkey, all that back and forth was very entertaining, but no, doesn't look likely at all now. So, and apparently, Chris Sharrock, this was interesting. So it's been reported. I think there's a new book coming out by a guy called PJ Harrison, who's reporting that it was offered to Chris Sharrock first, but he turned it down because of money. He didn't think they were offering enough money, and then hence that's why they've gone and offered it to Joey Waronker after Chris Sharrock has turned it down, which I've not seen any proof of that. I say it's quoted in this book, PJ Harrison. Also, just on the Oasis Collectors group, that's sort of been something that's mentioned. And we know that, Kyle has done signings with Chris Sharrock. So you never know, there might be some truth to that. But then also reading a couple of comments that Chris Sharrock is then retired. So you think, oh, okay. Well, I suppose maybe if he was only hanging on doing Noel's High Flying Birds, and if he's not doing Oasis, then fine. He can sort of step away. Don't know. Don't know, that's an interesting one. Hopefully we'll find out a bit more about that in the future. So there you go. What do you think? Are you happy with this lineup? Was there people that you'd rather have been in there? We didn't mention Griggs. Griggs was obviously never going to do it. 100%. He's just out of the limelight, was never going to be involved. So there you go. Not long now. 4th of July, and we're on the 25th of May. What's that, 5-6 weeks? Very exciting. One other point really that I didn't mention yesterday, the Oasis film, this thing that's been announced with Stephen Knight producing it, the Peaky Blinders guy. They have been asking fans to submit their favourite song and their personal stories of the reasons why. Which is interesting. So you can log onto their website, which is oasis-film.com. So I don't quite know what that then means. So I assumed it was just going to be a concert film. And so are they then going to drop in like bits of fans talking about their favourite films, favourite songs? Not quite sure how that's going to work. To be honest, I don't really feel like I need that. Like I'd be happy. I think we had that with Nebworth and with Liam's Nebworth film as well. Like I don't really feel like we need lots more fan stories, and also, hey, listen to Oasis podcast. This is all about fan stories. We do enough of it over here. But anyway, we'll see. It'd be amazing for the people that get asked, and I am going to submit a story myself. But there we go. Interesting development. All right, well, that'll do it for today at 8:46 on Sunday, the 25th of May. Who knows when we're back? Maybe tomorrow if more stuff happens. All right, stay in touch, stay engaged, and stay young.